That's okay.
Back here at the Murphy Center on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, Lucas Forstrom, David Clary, Alex Myers with you. Still just under 2 minutes left before tip-off of this state championship game between the Oak Ridge Wildcats and the Blackman Blaze. Wildcats, as we mentioned last year, fell to Southwind in the first round of the state tournament. Last time Oak Ridge was in this state championship ball game, it was 1963 against Murfreesboro Central, and the Wildcats won 38-36 in overtime, and that was at Vanderbilt when they held it back there in the day. The Wildcats advanced to that state championship game by beating Franklin in the first round 48-46 in overtime, and then second round defeating Kittrell 53-45, followed by Memphis Overton 44-35. Of course, 2 years before that, Oak Ridge won the state championship in 1961 over the Kingsport Dobbins Bennett Indians 40-39. So Dave, if tradition holds true from 51 and 53 years ago, we're in for an outstanding ball game. The two times Oak Ridge has played for a state championship, a 2-point ball game in overtime and a 1-point game against Dobbins Bennett.
And we're looking forward to this, as you can hear their fans coming up from behind us. About to have the starting lineups, and I know, Alex, you've struggled with this a little bit, the way they introduce them here, but as usual, we'll have the national anthem and then the starting lineups.
Absolutely. I'm going to try a little bit better today, Dave, but the way they do it, if it might be a little confusing listening at home or by radio, they do, instead of 5 on one team, 5 on the other, they do 1 on one team, 1 on the other, then they go back and do 1 on one team, 1 on the other. So we're going to have the national anthem, then we'll come back with our starting lineups. Well, I'll certainly say, guys, a little bit nervous before this game, but if that kid can step out in front of all these at his age and do that, then we should certainly not be too nervous about calling a ball game. So great, fantastic job by that young man there, the national anthem. We're going to get set for the starting lineups. I believe they will start with Oak Ridge's player first and then move to Blackman's. Not 100% sure about that. Hang on with us. Interesting, though, as we did say, fans split. It's about 50-50. Oak Ridge fans may actually have turned out a little bit better than the Blackman audience, but we'll see about that. Blackman does have a few more students, I think, but not nearly as many as they did the other day. Oak Ridge student section, pretty good turnout for this long trip. First up, I believe will be Oak Ridge. They're really letting the emotions, everybody's getting into this one. But they're waiting a little bit long on that one, but I think we're finally set to go. We apologize about that. First up, guard number 2, Jaylin Henderson. And boy, the crowd's letting him know.
Number 3, Jauan Jennings. In the backcourt for Oak Ridge, number 3, Kevin Stevie. At guard for the Blaze, number 4, Isaiah Hart. And forward for Oak Ridge, number 5, Seth Davis. And at guard position for Blackman, number 5, Lucas Hart. And guard for the Wildcats, number 12, Geevantay Gee. And forward for the Blaze, 14, Andrew Rogan. The center for Oak Ridge, 33, Isaac Merian. And forward for Blackman, 22, Reed Pierce. The head coach for Oak Ridge, Aaron Green. The Wildcats are now 32-7, defeating Jefferson County first round 66-45.
Guys, I'll tell you what, just let you guys hear the PA announcer here so you guys can hear the crowd going along with it. These crowds are pumped up, ready to go. I'm excited to see one final game of tournament high school basketball.
Dave, it's exciting. This Blackman crowd's not what we thought it would be, but this Oak Ridge crowd is enormous. And we're ready to tip this thing off. Ball teams in their respective holders at their bench. And if there's any question, Dave, about maybe who the heart and soul of this Oak Ridge team is, I think it was answered. Jaylin Henderson was in the middle of that huddle, getting his guys fired up, firing up the troops, and we're ready for state championship basketball.
And here we go. The Wildcats wearing their all Cardinal jerseys with white numerals. The Blackman Blaze wearing their all white jerseys, orange and black trim. To jump for the Wildcats is Isaac Merian. To jump for the Blackman Blaze is Reed Pierce. The officials are out on the floor. We're about to have state championship basketball from the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. The officials are set. The clock is set with 8 minutes. The horn sounds, and the state championship ball game is about to get underway, and the ball is controlled by Oak Ridge. And we're underway here at Middle Tennessee. Geevantay Gee with the basketball, brings the ball across the line, dribbles to the left, and gives it off to Henderson. Jaylin Henderson backs up, calls the play with his right hand, gives it over to Gee. Gutted out high by Hart, and backs up to the midcourt circle. 15 seconds into the ball game, neither team has taken a shot. Here comes Geevantay Gee, dribbling in, penetrating the paint, lost the ball. Taken on the floor by Jauan Jennings, and down the floor will come the Blaze.
And there you go, Coach Wortman. We talked about he was worried about Geevantay Gee. That time they attack it, and Gee turned it over. He didn't turn it over one time yesterday.
Isaiah Hart with the basketball, guarded by Gee, looks to his right, gives it up to the top to Jennings. Jauan Jennings, guarded by Kevin Steen, penetrates the paint, goes in for a shot, no good. Gets his own rebound and puts it in, scores. Reed Pierce hits the bucket, and it's 2-0, and down the floor will come Oak Ridge. Kevin Steen sets it up for the Wildcats, 7:05 to play first quarter. Blackman on top, 2-0. With it will come Gee. Dribbles to his left, bumped a little bit, penetrates the paint, goes inside, gives it in to Isaac, spins, shoots, and knocks it down. 2-2 our score. The Wildcats and Blaze are tied.
And if there's one thing that this Blackman team does exceptionally well, they do a lot of things great, but they defend the basketball and make it really tough on you to score. That time Oak Ridge got lucky, got a loose ball into Isaac's hands, and he made the bucket.
Here comes Jennings once again. The Wildcats playing with Isaac Merian, Seth Davis, Jaylin Henderson, Gee, and Steen. With the basketball on the left block, they turn, they spin, no good. Rebounded back up, and good.
Well, right now, that's Reed Pierce, the second bucket. Second one off a second chance opportunity of offensive rebound. He elevated really well on that one to get it to go. Wildcats have got to box him out.
Blaze on top, 4-2, Oak Ridge basketball. Jaylin Henderson in the paint. He drives to the hole, puts up a shot, no good, but he does draw the foul from the Blackman Blaze, and the Wildcats will send their senior, Jaylin Henderson, to the free throw line.
Absolutely. He struggled to get points yesterday, and in yesterday's ball game, I think he ended up with about 4 points, which is very uncharacteristic. Jaylin's typically a good scorer. Nice to see him being aggressive, taking the ball to the hole, trying to get on the board early for Oak Ridge.
And the foul's on Jauan Jennings, his first. That's big. Jaylin's really good at drawing fouls from guys, and if Jennings can get in foul trouble, that spells trouble for Blackman.
First shot was good by Henderson. Can tie it with the second. 6:12 to play first quarter from Middle Tennessee. The state championship ball game. Shot good. Jaylin knocks it down, and we're tied at 4. Wildcats putting on pressure in the rear court and down the floor. Oh, they're going to call a foul against Gee. Looked like almost a clean strip of the ball, but the first foul called on Geevantay.
And I don't want to find me some wood to knock on here, but tell you what, Oak Ridge in the past, really all tournament, they've had 1 or 2 guys a game, seems like, get into some foul trouble early. We don't like to see that, especially in the state championship ball game. Hopefully these guys can stay out of foul trouble.
Here comes Hart down the floor. With the Blaze, we're tied at 4, 2 minutes into the state championship ball game. Blackman with the ball, top of the circle. Once again, it goes out to Pierce. Around the left side, over goes to Hart. Drives inside to Pierce, turns against Isaac, and then he's going to be called for travel. Wildcats get it on their turnover.
Pierce that time way too far underneath the basket. Tried to spin move. He had to shuffle his feet just to keep from stepping out of bounds.
So the Wildcats have the ball. 4-4 our score, 5:50 to play. We appreciate James Branson and Jacob Calhoun doing our camera work tonight here from the state championship ball game on the Monty Hale Arena. Here's Oak Ridge working into Steen. Lost it for a second. Saved by Seth Davis. Goes in. A little 3-footer off the glass. Good! And Oak Ridge takes the lead 6-4.
Boy, Seth Davis has stepped up so huge. His senior year, his only year of varsity basketball, he's been so huge down the stretch.
Setting up once again will come Blackman.
Yeah, Seth, they call him SD, the students do, but he really stepped up, especially just getting his third start right here in the state tournament.
With the basketball, they'll come setting it out the left wing. Once again, it goes out to Hart. Works the ball inside for a shot just inside the arc. It's no good. They get the rebound, though. That's 3 rebounds for them. Then they kick the ball out of bounds. the Oak Ridge basketball. One thing kind of right now is kind of concerning is the fact that they are doing a great job on the offensive glass.
Indeed they are. That time it was just kind of a long rebound right there, but one of the smallest guys on the court got it. Coach Green has been trying to get his team to box out.
Oak Ridge basketball. Here the pass inside Isaac Merian goes up for the shot. Good! Oak Ridge by 4. 8-4 our score. 4:50 to play first quarter.
Yeah, Isaac's got 4 points. He stepped up already in this game. I think that's really a player Oak Ridge thinks that they like the matchup against Blackman.
Here comes the Blaze once again setting it up right in front of the Oak Ridge bench, which is to our left. They'll drive the baseline, put a little floater up. Good!
There's Jauan Jennings. He's a heck of a player, Dave. Highly recruited athlete for football, but he's got some basketball skill as well. You saw it that time.
Oak Ridge in the lead by 2. 8-6, 4:24 to play first quarter. Seth Davis, Jaylin Henderson dribbles, drives, shoots and scores! Easy bucket that time for the Wildcats.
Yeah, he's already got 4 points. I think that's the same amount as he had all game yesterday. Really good to see your senior leader get going here early on.
Oak Ridge by 4 once again, 10-6. We're about 4 minutes into the state championship ball game from Middle Tennessee State.
And Oak Ridge is making use of the shot fake, Dave. It's the simplest play in basketball, but the most effective. Blackmen take advantage of their athleticism.
They're setting up their offense out to the top. It goes to Jennings once again around the left side to Hart. Hart penetrates to the free throw line, kicks the ball back out for a three-pointer. It's on its way. It is no good. Rebounded by Oak Ridge. Isaac Merian pulls down the board to Gee. Oak Ridge in the lead by 4, 10-6, and the Wildcats set up their offense.
Yeah, Wildcats are doing a great job getting a lot of motion going offensively. Jaylin had a 3 if he wanted it, but really playing smart basketball on the offensive end, not turn the ball over very much, and really just working to get a good shot inside. They've done that very well so far.
Here comes Jaylin driving in, stripped to the ball, still puts up the shot, no good. Rebounded by Jennings, and here come the Blackman Blaze. Cross the time stripe once again will come Jennings, drives to the baseline, he walks. They kick the ball back out anyway. They'll drive in left side for the shot, is no good. Rebounded Isaac Merian of Oak Ridge.
Well, he got away for clear travel that time. I like the possession last time for Oak Ridge. Jaylin just attacking a guy. Gee's going to drive in here and get fouled.
Personal foul is going to go against Isaiah Hart. 3:02 to play first quarter. Good start for the Wildcats.
Absolutely. They're really attacking the offensive end. They're really doing a good job of getting easy baskets and getting good shots inside the lane. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. Oak Ridge leads 10-6. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Well, guys, what do you think of the start for the Wildcats? A 10-6 lead early on. Wildcats shooting the ball well, look very comfortable in my opinion out there.
Well, it's a strong start, Dave. Oak Ridge not been afraid to take it right to Blackman against some long, strong, athletic guys. Wildcats, I mentioned it before, just utilizing that shot fake inside is getting those guys up off the floor, and that's creating open shots right now for Oak Ridge.
Yeah, it's doing a great job. Not only, as you said, are we getting into the lane and getting good looks, but we're also getting them off their feet. They're being really aggressive. We mentioned Coach Wortman loves defense, and they're trying to block a lot of shots with using their length to help that. They're not got a lot of opportunities because Oak Ridge is really utilizing the pump fake. Just playing really smart basketball. The only thing I could critique Oak Ridge right now is on the defensive end, you've got to get the boards, and you can't continue to let this Blackman team, who's very talented, get extra opportunities on the offensive end.
The reason for the long timeout, they have media timeouts, and that's why we had an extended break there. The Wildcats have the lead and the ball. 3:02 to play in the first quarter here from the Monty Hale Arena, campus of Middle Tennessee State University. The Lady Wildcats of Oak Ridge have been here several times, have won 3 state titles, and the Wildcats work the ball on Isaac quickly, wanted to shoot, goes in for it, a little 3-footer, hits the rim, no good. Rebounded by the Blaze. They lose it. The Wildcats, Isaac grabs it, loose on the floor. It's a jump ball. The alternate possession arrow will go to the Blackman Blaze.
Great fight there from Oak Ridge. Couple Wildcats hit the deck to get after that. Isaac Merian, Geevantay Gee. And Oak Ridge will finally be able to set up its full court press here.
What I was trying to say a moment ago, the Lady Wildcats have won 3 state titles in their history as Oak Ridge's defense is tenacious, but they get the ball in. The boys trying to win their 3rd state title. Here's a steal by Oak Ridge, knocked out of bounds. Good quick hands by the Wildcats.
Absolutely. I thought they were going to call a foul. Wildcats got their hands on the ball without drawing contact, so that's a good job. Coach Green was upset. He thought the ball went off of Blackman's knee. However, the ref didn't agree with him. Blackman's ball underneath the basket.
Isaiah Hart's pass is nearly intercepted by Ted Mitchell. The Blaze have it at the free throw line. No place to go but back. Here goes Jennings for three. It's in and out. No good. Kevin Steen on the rebound for the Wildcats. Here comes Geevantay Gee. Quickly to Ted. Ted will drive to the corner. He'll drive to the baseline. Kick it out and throw the ball away. Pass intercepted by Jennings. Here come the Blaze back the other way. 2:26 to play first quarter. Oak Ridge on top. 10-6. Driving with it will come Jennings. Six it out to the left side once again to Hart. Backs up. Good defense being applied by the Wildcats.
Indeed it is. Oak Ridge done a good job, and they've done a better job lately getting on the defensive glass rather.
Setting it up, Jennings. He's got another three. It's no good. Rebounded by Kevin Steen. That's a good early sign to see Jennings, one of the top players around, to misfire on the early shots.
Well, in yesterday's game, he had 7 points at about the 92nd mark left to go in the first quarter of yesterday's game. And then at the end of the third quarter, I looked up and he had 9 points. So he's a player who can get hot. He's kind of streaky from what I've seen, and early on, he's not hot.
Almost a turnover, and then the ball's knocked out of bounds. Almost a turnover there. Quickly, Gee got over there to save it for Oak Ridge.
Yeah, Gee's all over the place, hustling after everything. Ted Mitchell's going to check out for Oak Ridge, but yeah, Gee's getting all over it. We've seen him on the floor. We've seen him all over the place, just trying to save possession for Oak Ridge.
Freshman Tee Higgins jumps into the game for the first time as the Wildcats work it in. Here it goes to the right to Henderson. Thought about looking at a long-range shot, will not take it. Minute 46 to play. We're in the first quarter. 10-6 Oak Ridge. Lob past Tee Higgins. Baseline jumper is no good. Tip back up, no good. Pulled away by Reed Pierce. Here come the Blaze. Racing in the front court with it. Once again will come Hart. Right in front of the Oak Ridge bench. Attacks in. Takes an extra step and turns it over. Another turnover for the Blackman Blaze.
Well, I've said it all along, Dave, that the thing that Oak Ridge did better than any team in this tournament was defend, and you can see it thus far here in this first quarter.
And Oak Ridge for Blackman, Pierce, you saw him, Reed Pierce, get that last rebound on the defensive end for Blackman. He's been everything down there on the rebounds. And so if Oak Ridge can get a body on him, Blackman doesn't look to have a whole bunch of other people get the rebounds. Geevantay Gee that time drove in, thought he got fouled. He traveled with the ball. So another turnover for Oak Ridge. You got to cut down on those, even though you're up 10-6 with a minute and 11 remaining in the first quarter.
Here come the Blaze once again. Oak Ridge with pressure. Here comes Tee Higgins harassing hard as he brings the ball across the line. Tees all over him. Backs up to the midcourt circle. The pass over to the right, and they'll set up their offense. Exactly 1 minute to play in the first quarter. Oak Ridge on top in the state championship ball game, 10-6. Here comes the pass inside. Layup good. Nice play that time by the Blaze.
A great cut by number 14. That time that's Andrew Rogan for Blackman. He got in there, and a great find by Jauan Jennings.
Wildcat lead is 2. 40 seconds and counting here in the first quarter. 10-8 our score. Gee looks down low. Can't get the ball to either Jaylin, Henderson, or Isaac. Kevin's going to drive to the hole, and he's fouled. Personal foul is going to be called, I believe, against Lucas Hart. And that'll be team foul against them, and the Wildcats will go to the free throw line with Kevin Steen.
Well, good job by Kevin staying aggressive right there. On the defensive end, though, defending Blackman, anytime you're going against a Barry Wortman coach team, you're going to see a lot of motion offense when they get in their half-court set. They do a lot of passing and back cuts. And that's one thing against a Wortman coach team, Dave. We talk about it a lot, but you're going to have to defend, and not just for the remainder of the shot clock, because there's none in high school. You're going to have to defend a long time and really watch your back cuts. Kevin Steen goes to the line and hits the first.
Back to the line he goes. Second toss, good. Kevin Steen knocks it down, and Oak Ridge's lead is back up to 4. 12-8, 31.5 seconds to play. I'm very disappointed in the size of the Blackman student section. It's still big, nothing like we've seen through the first two ball games. Here come the Blaze down the floor. They almost throw the ball away. They work the ball back out with 26 seconds to play. Looking back to Coach Wortman, he barks out the play. We're down to 20 seconds and counting. They'll hold for the final shot. The Wildcats playing with Gee, with Henderson, Steen, along with Tee Higgins and Isaac Merian. Down to 12 seconds. Oak Ridge in the lead, and here comes the play in motion by Blackman. They'll work it to a corner to a wide open shooter for three. It's good. 3-point shot, Isaiah Hart, and then a charge is going to be called against Kevin Steen. Probably should have been a travel in my opinion, but good defense by the Blackman Blaze.
That one's just a tough one to call always. It could go either way. Sometimes that guy is too into him and uproots the guy like that. That time they give the charge on Kevin there. It's really not his fault. It's just a guy right there as the ball comes in for Blackman. It's tipped away by Gee, and that will be the end of the first quarter.
Take a break here. We're played one quarter of basketball at the state championship ball game at Middle Tennessee State. Oak Ridge on top of the Blackman Blaze, 12-11. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Media timeout once again. Your thoughts on the first quarter, Alex Myers?
Well, I think it's completely understandable that I was a little bit nervous before this game, and don't get me wrong, I still am, but, nerves have calmed a little bit after seeing Oak Ridge come out in the first quarter. They played very well. Very hard on the defensive side of the ball, with the exception of 2 or 3 missed rebounds that Blackman was able to recover. Other than that, not a lot to complain about from Oak Ridge. Both these teams coming out playing very hard. There's no doubt about it. Oak Ridge can hang with these guys. It's just how well are you going to play the next 3 quarters. Oak Ridge has trotted back out on the court now. Isaac Merian, Geevantay Gee, Jaylin, Henderson, Kevin Steen, Seth Davis in the ball game for Oak Ridge. It'll be interesting to see. We got 3 more quarters to play. Dave, this has been fun.
It's been a good battle thus far between both teams, as evidenced by this 1-point margin. This thing's going to come down to it, Dave. You can't really see either of these 2 teams separating from each other.
No, I don't see that at all. It's going to come right down to it. Both teams have excellent players. What I like about it, there have been a few turnovers, but for the most part, they look very calm, both teams.
They do, and, speaking about, especially Seth Davis is one guy before the game that me and Lucas specifically talked about looking very calm in his facial expressions and his body language. And, we talked about it. Maybe it's because it's his first year. He doesn't necessarily understand the magnitude of what this game means yet, but regardless, it's helped him so far. He's played pretty well, and Blackman, as we said, talking about it being a close game, they're not going to put up a whole bunch of points, so you're going to be in it regardless.
Oak Ridge has the ball first, so we start play here in the second quarter. The Wildcats, here's the lob to Isaac Merian along the baseline, lost the ball on the floor, picked up by the Blaze. They have the numbers, I thought, for a second, and they'll bring the ball down the floor.
Isaac put it on the floor that time, and that's how the little guys can steal it.
Back on defense go the Wildcats with the original starting 5 out on the floor. Steen, Merian, Henderson, Davis, and Gee. Blackman Blaze, and they're all white and orange, setting up their offense, trailing Oak Ridge by 1. 7:28 to play. We're in the first half of the state championship ball game. Lucas Hart with it, guarded by Seth Davis outside on the left wing. They go inside to the free throw line. Jennings will shoot and knock it down, and the Blaze have the lead.
That's Reed Pierce again. He's been the leading scorer for them thus far. He's got 6 now in the ball game for Blackman. Make that 7, actually.
Wildcats going to be called for a travel. Kevin tried to accelerate in, didn't put the ball down on the floor. Alex, I meant to ask you this earlier, and I know we don't have a lot of time here. You played for Coach Wortman. What kind of a coach is he?
He's a very passionate coach, that's no doubt about that. And say what you want about him, but X's and O's wise, he's outstanding. He's not as much of a player's coach as someone like Coach Green, but regardless, he brings. He's one of these guys, no doubt about it. He eats, sleeps, and lives basketball. That's about all he does, but that's one of the reasons he has so much success.
Here comes Isaiah Hart, kicks the ball back out. They'll dribble it. The Wildcats not really allowing them to penetrate much. They've kind of swung the ball across the floor. The Wildcats not allowing a lot of penetration.
No, nothing towards the rim. Oak Ridge doing a good job staying in front, as they're going to call a foul on Kevin Steen here. That's another tough call on Kevin.
And Kevin's going to wander over towards the bench. You were talking about one of these officials. Of course, we don't usually deal with these officials ever in ball games, but you've noticed this one guy all tournament long.
Indeed, we saw him back on Wednesday. This guy, especially on a charge call, man, he'll stare some players down. He's looking for something to call a technical on. It's kind of concerning for officials, for fans watching the games. The three's missed by Blackman, but a long rebound falls into the hands of Blaze again, but another long 3 on its way. It's no good. Jaylin Henderson gets the rebound.
Wildcats trail by 1, 13-12, 6:19 to play in the first half. Wildcats setting it up with Jaylin Henderson. Big battle going on inside. Jaylin wants to penetrate. Seth Davis, wide open 3. No good. Isaac tips it in. Good! Isaac Merian, a little tip in, and the Wildcats retake the lead.
And there's the offensive boards for Oak Ridge. They've not been too active on it thus far, but Isaac gets one to go.
Tough shot there for Isaac, but a little taste of Blackman's own medicine right there, giving up an offensive rebound that really hurt him that time.
They'll drive in. Nice drive in that time by Reed Pierce, and a nice dunk.
Well, that's what Pierce has done thus far in this game. He's knocked down that outside shot, so Isaac had to go up and challenge off the pump fake there, and that leads to an open dunk.
Foul's going to be called against Blackman. They tried to lob it down low to Isaac, and that has not really been there here in the early stages. Wildcats got bailed out there on a personal foul.
Well, they're sending help over on Isaac, so Reed Pierce is fronting him. What they're doing is when the lob comes, they're just sending another defender over to get the backside. It's really leaving Isaac no room to catch the ball. That time, Wildcats get bailed out by a foul, and Geevantay Gee is going to give it over to Jaylin to start up the offense.
Jaylin sets up outside the line. The Wildcats trailing by 1. 15-14 the score, 5.5 minutes. Kevin Steen to the hole and scores. Nice drive down the center of the lane.
Kevin just took one dribble and got by his man, and the lane was wide open for him.
16-15, the Wildcats in the lead. Coach Wortman's not happy about something.
Yeah, absolutely. He got that look on his face. I don't think he liked the wide open drive. That time Geevantay Gee looks in to get the steal. Foul on him. It looks like, no, they're going to call a legal screen. I was going to say it looked like he pointed Blackman's direction, which would indicate an offensive foul. That time Gee got away with one there. Seth Davis is going to inbound it right directly across from Coach Green. Oak Ridge is in pretty good position, up 1 with 5:14 to go in the first half.
Well, that was the official we were just talking about that made that call right there off the ball. Couldn't see it. I don't suppose many of the people in the crowd did see it.
Come the Wildcats with the lead by 1. Here comes Isaac around the right side of Gee. Looks down low, thought about shooting it, will not. Now penetrates in, kicks the ball back out. There's Seth. He's got a 3 on its way. It's good! 3-point shot. Seth Davis of Oak Ridge, and the Wildcats lead 19-15.
Can't leave them open if you're Blackman. Seth Davis can knock that down. He's proved that here in Murfreesboro.
Here come the Blaze down the floor.
Seth Davis, once again, we talking about him all pregame. We're talking about him again. Done a great job of stepping up. Wearing the low-top Jordans. Found out before the game his shoes are messing up, so he's wearing the alternate shoes. Once again, Oak Ridge struggling to get a rebound. Seth finally gets it and gives it to Jaylin.
4:32 to play in the first half. Oak Ridge on top, 19-15 in the AAA state championship ball game from Middle Tennessee State. It's been 51 years since the Wildcats have won a title. 1963 was the year. As the Wildcats penetrate, give it into Gee. Gee wants to shoot, no place to go, has to kick it back up, missed the shot. Down the floor will come the Blaze.
Just a tough one for Gee. He was caught down on the block. This is Jauan Jennings. Great pass to Lucas inside. It's good. Lucas Hart gets the bucket for Blackman.
Here come the Wildcats back the other way. That time Gee got a little bit too deep in there and had no place to go.
Indeed he did. He was matched up with Jennings that time. Somehow got the shot off, but it was no good. Now Seth Davis drives in, kicks out. It's going to be a charge, and it is an offensive foul on Seth Davis. Wildcat
lead is 2. Last 2 trips down the floor have not been good ones. The Wildcats lead 19-17.
Yeah, they're really fortunate to have a lead. We're going to have a under, I guess, 5-minute timeout, media timeout, but we're going to take a 2-minute break and come right back here after this. Oak Ridge leads 19-17 with 3:52 remaining in the first half.
Welcome back to the Murphy Center, campus in Middle Tennessee State University. You are listening to live coverage of the state championship ball game between the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats and the Blackman Blaze. Currently, the Wildcats in the lead, 19-17, Lucas Forstrom.
Absolutely, Dave. We're going back and forth as we have been all game long. The thing right now for Oak Ridge, you got to hold off on the fouls a little bit. Nobody's in too bad of trouble right now, but Kevin Steen has 2. His responsibility is to guard Jauan Jennings, which is the toughest matchup for Oak Ridge. Kevin can't afford to pick up one more in this half.
Here come the Blaze down the floor. The Wildcats in the lead. 3:48 to play first half. Appreciate you listening to our broadcast today on FM 92.7, FM 107.3, Faith 1240 AM. We're also on prepradio.com and Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. Jennings guarded by Henderson, pulls up and shoots, missed it. Rebound to Geevantay Gee. Here come the Wildcats down the floor, and the Wildcats set it up with 3:25 to play. Oak Ridge ball, Steen with it, looks down low, can't get it to Isaac's, going to drive to the baseline, has a shot, pulls it up, missed it badly. Rebound, I think foul called perhaps against Kevin Steen.
That's his third, a real tough way to pick up a foul right there. He just was going after the basketball. 2 guys were. Kevin just kind of ran into the other guy completely unintentional. That time, I think it's going to be Kevin Steen's 3rd personal foul, and that's a tough break as he's probably going to have to sit the remainder of the half. And hopefully it doesn't happen for Oak Ridge. But last time when Kevin had to sit out for a little bit last game, Dave, you told me that Arlington won an 18-6 run.
Right now, Ted Mitchell's going to have to step up his ball game.
Indeed, he's going to have to. And Ted can play some good defense, so we'll look for it here. And they've already switched Jaylin Henderson on to Jauan Jennings.
2:59 to play in the first half. Oak Ridge on top of the Blaze of Blackman High School out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 19-17. State championship action. With the basketball will come the Blaze. They'll set it up. Not a whole lot of substituting for Blackman here in the early going. They drive to the baseline, kick it off for a 3. He steps out of bounds with the basketball, and Oak Ridge will get it on the Jauan Jennings turnover.
Of course, we couldn't see that in here with the table in front of us, but Blackman just kind of out of sorts on offense thus far. They're not getting anything at the rim.
Wildcats in the lead, 19-17, 2:40 to play. The last time I saw Oak Ridge and Barry Wortman playing, it was a slow-down ball game at Blackman High School in the region tournament where there wasn't a whole lot of points scored. In fact, the Wildcats only got 14. As Jaylin goes in for a shot, he's fouled. Foul called against Jennings. 29-14, the final score, I believe, in that ball game. Kind of slowed it down. A little bit of different strategy for Coach Wortman here at Blackman.
Well, absolutely, but make no mistake about it. I was on that team, but I will no doubt admit that was probably one of the more unathletic Oak Ridge teams that we've had in the past decade or so. Not that we were extremely unathletic. No doubt we weren't quite as athletic as this team is coaching right now, but with better athletes, it enables you to speed up a little bit. But right now, as you said, Blackman's pace is a little bit better than it certainly in that game, but certainly it's not quite as fast as Oak Ridge likes to play.
Henderson knocks down both free throws, and it's the second foul on Jauan Jennings for Blackman.
Here come the Blaze down the floor, 21-17. Oak Ridge in the lead, 2:20 to play. Wildcats have led most of the way here at the Murphy Center.
That they have in Oak Ridge. It's on the defensive end, Dave. I'm telling you, just not getting anything, allowing anything easy for Blackman.
Blackman sets it up once again. They trail by 4. 2 minutes, 5 seconds to play here in the second quarter. Jacob Calhoun doing camera work tonight. We got Brian at the station. We got James Branson doing work. Has some good sponsors here as they pull up and shoot. Good. Nice shot by Reed Pierce. And I've been very impressed with him in the first half.
You have to be. If he can step out and knock that one down, it's so dangerous. And you saw the last time he did that, Isaac challenged him, overplayed him, and he got the dunk. That's so dangerous if a guy can step out and knock that down.
21-19, the Wildcats in the lead. We have 97 seconds to play. Jaylin Henderson, right block, shoots, scores! Jaylin Henderson drops it in and back to a 4-point game.
He's got 8 points. Much better job of getting to the basket and scoring. And Jaylin's not forcing anything this game, just getting shots to fall, and he wasn't last game.
Minute 23 to play, 23-19 Oak Ridge.
The other thing is Jennings is guarding him, and he doesn't want to foul, so when Jaylin can get down there low, Jennings can't be aggressive and guard him.
Minute 14, we're ticking it down here in the first half. 23-19 in the state championship game. Oak Ridge in the lead. Here come the Blaze. They kick it out for a shot. Three-pointer by Jennings, launched. Clang off the iron, no good. Rebounded by Isaac Merian with under a minute to play in the first half.
We'll see if Oak Ridge will decide to hold here for the last shot of the half as Gee brings it over the midcourt line. 4-point lead, 23-19. Wildcats might consider it, but doesn't look like that's the plan thus far.
Ted Mitchell, bounce pass, left side, Jaylin off the glass, good! And the Wildcats lead by 6.
Jaylin's got 10 points, and that's just beautiful offense. Ted hasn't been able to get his scoring going of late. That time, he gets somebody else the opportunity to score. Great assist off the bounce pass by Ted Mitchell. This crowd's nuts.
Isaac Hart drives against Gee, cut off at the top of the circle. Oak Ridge wanted, I think, an offensive foul called, not forthcoming. Here comes Hart, he drives, he stops, he shoots and scores! 17 seconds to play, back to a 4-point game.
And Oak Ridge will have the last shot here in the backcourt with it with 10. Gee's got to get going to bring it over the midcourt line.
Here they come down with 8. Here's Jaylin Henderson. Here's Jaylin driving. Got a screen. Here's a shot. No good. A charge called against Jaylin Henderson. Isaac did a really good job initially blocking off the baseline there, but somebody slid over and drew the charge.
Yeah, I think that's the right call, too. I think it was just good rotation on the defensive end. Somebody got down there on the baseline, and Jaylin, full head of steam. He had no other choice but to go up with that. It's Jaylin's first foul. 3.4 left on the clock.
Down the floor, they start the clock. 25-21. Here's the long-range shot at the buzzer. Air ball as the first half has come to a close here at the campus of Middle Tennessee State. The Wildcats in the state championship ball game lead it by a score of 25-21.
What a great half, back and forth action, and you got to feel Oak Ridge will leave with this momentum. A bigger crowd, the Wildcats on their feet for Oak Ridge as some of their students giving a little heckling job over there to Barry Wortman.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they're calling him by his first name, no doubt. These seniors, I believe, they were in 8th grade when Barry was the coach at Oak Ridge, but no doubt they know what went on there. But I was going to just commend, even before that happened, the Oak Ridge student section. They've been really into this game. They've done a great job. They've actually been a lot better than Blackman student section, which is one of the more impressive that I've ever seen from a high school student section just one day ago.
Indeed, David. It's kind of weird. Blackman, we'll tell you, this whole section to our right, we're talking these 4 entire sections of STAB, spell stab actually, but all those sections were full of Blackman students in all black. There must have been 500-600 of them. And tonight, you've got maybe 100 of them over there for a state championship game. They just really don't like school, I suppose. They got out yesterday to come. They must be on spring break right now. They said, forget this, we're going to the beach.
Hey, let's take a time out here, guys. This is David Clary along with Lucas Forstrom, Alex Myers, James Branson, Jacob Calhoun, Brian Bennett, I believe, back at the studios of FM 92.7. Halftime score of the state championship ball game. Oak Ridge on top, 25-21. We'll take a break. We'll send it back to Brian. We'll be back with a look at the stats, and we'll talk more about this state championship ball game. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Early on in the year, you could see that this was a very special group of kids. That being said, when, in my opinion, the best basketball they've played all year was at the Arby's Classic. They peaked around that time. Now, I'll tell you this, though, Dave, after that tournament, in Oak Ridge's the second semester kind of kicked off in January, they weren't playing very good basketball. They weren't playing very good competition, and honestly, they were kind of playing down. Even though they kept winning by double digits, they just weren't playing very well overall. And at that point, I certainly didn't see it happening. But no doubt from the beginning, you can see this team is talented enough to make it here. However, if you, being 100% honest with you, no, I didn't think that this team would make it to the state finals. Just because Oak Ridge's luck in my life, I'm 19, I'm not real old, but I'm old enough to know that in my lifetime, when Oak Ridge has gotten to the state tournament, they get a bad draw, they don't play well, they'll blow a lead. Something always seems to happen. It just seems to be very hard for an Oak Ridge Wildcat team to get here and really have success. They're doing it now, and they're two quarters away from being a state champion. I don't say anything too early, but to answer your question, no, I didn't see him playing in this particular game, but I did see the talent there that if they could put it all together, they definitely could make it to a sub-state, possibly to a state game.
Halftime score, Oak Ridge on top, 25-21. And Lucas, you and I, we joked about this the last couple days here. I've been slugging away watching Oak Ridge High School basketball since I was 15 years old, broadcasting ball games. You two guys, you and Alex, walk in to the broadcast, and here we are, someplace where I have never been in my entire life, broadcasting a men's basketball state championship. Did you think this team had a chance to be in this game?
I mean, you always think there's a chance with a talented team, Dave, and certainly Oak Ridge is very talented, but so many things have to go right, elimination games, you play so many elimination games throughout the postseason that something goes wrong, you're done. You look back, that Farragut game Oak Ridge played, they were down. The Carnes game, they were down. And then, you lose that region and you have to go out to Dobbins-Bennett. They were down double digits in the first half. So many opportunities that Oak Ridge's season could have come to an end, and it could have been kind of a ho-hum season when you look back at it at the end of the day. But they've persevered, and they battled, and they fought back every single time, and now they're here and they're doing the same thing like that. And I think every single time they did that, I think some folks took it two ways. They're not that good because they got down by the margin, or, they're building character and they're building strength by fighting back every time. And they've done it in all those games, all those battles against big teams have led them to this point where they're not scared of anybody. But like I said, so many things have to come together for anybody, even the most talented of teams, to get to this point. And it's come together thus far for Oak Ridge. You just need the next 16 minutes to come together as well. We are going to take a 60-second timeout and come back with second half action.
Here we go. We've got a few seconds to go here. Alex, your thoughts before we start the second half?
Well, it's simple. You got 2 quarters of basketball left. You got a 4-point lead, but you got to look at it. It's 0-0. You got 2 quarters to play, 2 quarters for the rest of your season. You know what's on the line. There's no motivation needed. Just go out here, play ball, and let's get it going.
Barry Wortman has the final words to his Blackman Blaze team. What do you think he just said to his guys? And say it in his voice.
You kind of put me on the spot there, Dave, but I'll give it a shot. We got to go out here. We got to be a bunch of real guys with a lot of mental and physical toughness. I want to get out there. We got 2 quarters. And I'll tell you right now, before we get real serious, get back into this, he may give him as motivational of a speech as he did to us before a region game one time, which was, Willow, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9, let's go.
Well, both teams are out on the floor, and Alex has done that for years. I've heard that invitation for the last 4 years and have always enjoyed it. Blackman's going to get the ball first. I don't know what the delay is. They've put 8 minutes back on the clock. Not sure what the delay is. Maybe television timeout?
I would assume so, Dave. The official's probably waiting word on the television. Mike Keith over there is killing us.
Yeah, most definitely. As the Wildcats come out with their original starting 5, Kevin Steen, along with Jaylin Henderson, Isaac Merian, Seth Davis, and Gee. Long wait here. The Blaze come out with their original starting 5. If you had told me we'd be in this game, and if you look at the stats of the previous games with guys like Jaylin Henderson, Jaylin hadn't really had a great offensive tournament. He's done great things on the other side of the ball, but offensively, he's just done his job, his role, and we're still here.
Been very efficient in that first half, and Jaylin needs to have a huge second half, as he's prone to doing.
Underway once again, this time the Blaze moving from left to right as you're listening to us here. Third quarter action, state tournament game, state championship ball game, 25-21 as the Blaze nearly turn the ball over. They'll set for a 3 and they knock it down. 3-point shot and we've got a 1-point game.
Yeah, Isaiah Hart that time. Just got to give him too much space. You can't do that to a good shooter, especially not one that's confident. Being a confident shooter, Isaac Merian gets the 8-foot shot off the glass. They're going to call a foul on Kevin Steen. That's his 4th foul. The ball was not even in play, David Lucas. The ball wasn't even in play. They had rolled the ball out of bounds, and they're calling a foul on Kevin Steen. I just don't know what it was. Ted Mitchell's going to have to come in. Kevin's got 4 fouls, 31 seconds into the second half.
Dave, that's literally the worst cheap foul I've ever seen in my life. The ball is not even in play, and I don't even know what happened. Just trying to run down the floor, and nobody went down or anything like that. I can't criticize the call because I didn't see it, but that's the worst cheap foul I've ever seen.
27-24 Oak Ridge in the lead, 7:21 to play. Kevin Steen out, like Alex and Lucas said, 4 personal fouls. Here's Jennings driving the paint, pulling up and shooting, no good. Rebound, Jaylin Henderson for a second, lost it. They'll dribble in, they'll shoot, it's up, no good. Rebound, what's the call? Personal foul underneath is going to be called against Oak Ridge. That time the Wildcats had an opportunity for a board there, just couldn't quite hold on to it.
Well, one of those guys down there for Blackman got away with the travel. And again, Oak Ridge, this was happening, I think, Jefferson County or maybe Arlington, they kind of run together at this point. Got to secure those rebounds.
Having trouble getting the ball in, but they do, and they get a terrible shot off, no good. And now what are they going to call? Personal foul against Gee. So the Wildcats getting foul after foul. We've played 57 seconds and already picked up 3 personal fouls.
Absolutely. And, it's just really tough. Come out of the break. 57 seconds into the second half, we've got 3 personal fouls, and Oak Ridge hasn't even gotten the ball yet. Well, they have gotten the ball once. But, first free throws off the glass, and if G was Rasheed Wallace, Lucas, he'd say ball don't lie.
Indeed, David. That one right there, the official blew the whistle way after the play had happened. He waited till the basket missed and then blew the foul. Second free throw is good.
2-point Wildcat lead here, 27-25. Out of the ball game, Lucas Hart checks out. Oak Ridge in the lead, 7:03 to play third quarter, state championship ball game. AAA action here at the Murphy Center. Here comes Gee down the floor for the Wildcats. Moving right to left, has trouble with his dribble. Picks it up in the midcourt circle, has a lot of trouble with it, has to give it up. Jaylin Henderson behind the back dribble at the top of the circle. Backs up to the MT that's painted on the floor. Drives the paint, throws one up there. High arcing shot, no good. Not a great shot that time for the Wildcats, and the Blaze take the lead on a 3. If it goes, no good. Rebound foul. This time it goes against Reed Pierce. So the Wildcats get a call this time.
That they do, and I'm not so sure about that one really, as it's off there, the officials, calling it ticky-tack in this one. Maybe a little switch up in style from the last game.
Here come the Wildcats down the floor, still up by 2, 27-25, 6.5 minutes to play. There's a turnover, and they're going to get a layup or maybe even a dunk. It's no good. Rebound, Isaac Merian, he's fouled. Isaac Hart commits a foul that time. Good positioning and a great hustle by Isaac to go down and get that rebound on the missed shot.
Absolutely, and the reason he got the foul, Dave, because he was in front of the guy, he had position, and the only way that the Blackman player could have gotten that ball was going over the back of Isaac. He tried to unsuccessfully, still got the foul. Great job by Seth Davis and Isaac Merian hustling back on defense.
The Wildcat turnover doesn't hurt them, and here they come back down the floor up by 2. Gee with the basketball. The sophomore point brings it across the line. Hands it off to Ted Mitchell, who's in the ball game now for Kevin Steen with 4 fouls. Here it goes to Gee. Gee driving all the way to the hole. No good. Rebound, Blaze. Pulling it down once again will come Pierce.
Yeah, that was a good look by Gee that time. Just couldn't quite get it to fall in there amongst the trees.
6 minutes to play here in the third quarter, 27-25. Kind of a ragged beginning to the second half.
Yeah, it's been sloppy kind of on both ends. I'm sure the nerves might have kicked in again there at halftime. 3 on the way for Blackman. In and out, no good. Rebound taken away by Seth Davis.
Wildcats have the basketball. Gee got knocked down, and there's a foul. Foul called against number 33, Wilson. And Gee, very seldom do you see him kind of almost lose his composure, but he got knocked to the ground that time, and they didn't call that one.
Absolutely. Gee's hanging in there tough on both ends of the court. He's getting hammered, but you know what? Sometimes you got to put the shoulder pads on and toughen up here in the state tournament, and Gee doesn't have a problem with that. He just wants a win.
Seth Davis with the basketball for the Wildcats. Back out goes to Henderson, and he throws the ball away. Tried to force it in once again to Isaac Merian and turned it over, and back the other way we go with the Blaze with a chance to tie it or take the lead. They're going to drive in for a shot off the glass. They miss another one. Rebound up, no good. This time pulled away by Seth Davis. Neither team shooting the ball well early here in the first few minutes of the second half.
No, not at all. As Henderson's going to take a mid-range shot. It's good. He knocks that one down. It wasn't the greatest of shots. He had to adjust it. It was good defense, but he gets it to go.
29-25, the Wildcats on top by 4. 5 minutes to play third quarter.
Jaylin's got 12 points in the ball game. He stepped up big time. Tee Higgins, the freshman, I don't think it's gotten on the board yet, but he's waiting to check in the next dead ball.
Blaze with the basketball. Here it goes out to Wilson. Drives to the baseline. Number 14 stumbles, lost the ball. Seth Davis of the Wildcats have it. Back the other way we come. Jaylin Henderson with it. Races across the time stripe. Drives against Jennings. Drives to the baseline. And what travel's going to be called against him? As he made his cut, Lucas lost his footing.
That he did. Great defense that time by Jennings. Stayed in front of Jaylin the whole way.
Timeout is asked for. It's immediate timeout. We will take it to 4:38 to play third quarter, 29-25. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 90 seconds. .438 to play. Action about to start once again. The Wildcats on top of the Blackman Blaze, 29-25. Blackman has the ball once again after the media timeout, and they'll try to work it in, and they do. Down the floor with it. It comes into Pierce once again, and they'll walk the ball off the floor with Isaiah Hart. Moving left to right, wearing their all-white jerseys, orange and black trim, kind of similar to Clinton, but not really. The Wildcats in their all-cardinal. Here comes a three-point shot. It's going to be short. Rebound, Isaac Merian of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge basketball up by 4. Tee Higgins in the ball game. So the Wildcats have a sophomore and a freshman in the ball game, along with the 3 seniors.
Yeah, but we saw him against Jefferson County. Tee Higgins can flat go and get it despite his young age.
Wildcat basketball, 4:06 to play third quarter. Gee launches a 3, no good. Rebound to Isaac Merian. Good offensive board, didn't have the numbers, loses the ball out of bounds. Probably should have just held the ball and not tried to go back up with it and given it off to a teammate.
Yeah, when he came down with that, he was about 10 feet away from the basket by the time he was able to control it. He tried to go back in, which wasn't a terrible idea, but it would have been better off to go back out with it.
Here come the Blaze down the floor. 3:49 to play third quarter. State championship ball game. Oak Ridge on top, 29-25. Here comes a foul, a moving screen against Jauan Jennings, and that's a huge foul.
Absolutely, because not only is it against Jennings, but I'll tell you right now, Gee is taking so much confidence on and off the ball. Coach Green's right in the referee's ear, and if Isaiah Hart's not careful, next couple times he's bringing the ball up, he's gotten away with a ton of push-offs right now. And if he's not careful, I know Coach Green's letting the referees know about it, so if he's not careful, he might get a push-off call. Great job by D defensively this whole game.
29-25, Jaylin Henderson to the baseline. Jaylin kicks it out. Around to Seth. Fight about a 3. T's going to take it. T for 3. Tip back in. Good by Seth Davis. They're going to count it as a three-pointer as it hit the rim and dropped back in. And Oak Ridge has its biggest lead of the night. A 7-point advantage of the Blackman Blaze. 32-25 the score. 3:15 to play third quarter.
And there's the freshman, Dave. Tee Higgins comes in and knocks down a big 3.
Wildcats back on defense, up by 7 on Blackman. 3:05 to play. Here they work the ball to the top of the circle. Reed Pierce around to the right side. Over it goes to Hart. In the corner, once again to his brother. He'll drive. He lost the ball. Goes up for the shot. Clang, no good. They get the rebound though. Blackman kicks the ball back out, and they step out of bounds with the basketball. Whose ball is it? Oak Ridge's ball. The Wildcats will get it. 2:49 to play here in the third quarter. Up by 7.
All the momentum in the crowd in favor of Oak Ridge right now, Dave. Blackman's going to get a sub in. 7-point lead for Oak Ridge, but nothing will ever be comfortable in this ball game.
Absolutely not. I know Lucas Forstrom was here in the state game a couple years ago, and Joe Jackson iced the game away. So nothing's ever safe. But right now, Oak Ridge certainly doing a great job on both ends of the court. They got to keep doing it though the rest of the game.
2:39 to play. Here comes T at the free throw line. He drives to the hole. He scores! He scores! The freshman has given Oak Ridge a 9-point lead.
Oh, Tee Higgins, that young man's got 5 points in the second half. Timeout by Blackman, and we've got a technical foul on who's going to be on.
It's on Barry Wortman. 2:24 to play, third quarter. Oak Ridge by 9. 34-25, and what a big lift. The freshman Tee Higgins has given the Wildcats.
They called Barry Wortman for a technical. They sure did. Oak Ridge up by 9. The crowd is into it. Boy, forget the city, Dave. Forget the city of Oak Ridge. This is a community coming together right now, and all these fans are loving it. Coach Green turned around the crowd a minute ago, gave the pump up sign. Everybody's feeling it. What a great feeling right now with 2:24 remaining in the third quarter. Oak Ridge leads by 9, 34-25.
Total domination on student sections too.
As we're still yet to check the call here, as nobody's gone to the free throw line yet. I think we'll have it following the TV timeout. And again, we think that one was on Barry Wortman. There was no definitive call there for the official. He just teed somebody up. G was over there. There seemed to be words exchanged between he and somebody. They slapped the technical on him, and until somebody steps to the line for Oak Ridge, I'm not going to be sure that it's not on Geevantay Gee.
I agree with that right now. Why don't you run down our sponsors here? We are at the state championship game. FM 92.7, FM 107.3, Faith 1240, PrepRadio.com, Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. We could not be on the air all season long without our great sponsors all season. We had unbelievable expenses at the state tournament, and some really big sponsors have stepped up, and we appreciate them. Run them down, and hopefully you people listening to our broadcast right now will tell them that you appreciate them helping us with our broadcast.
Indeed, Dave. This state championship ball game is brought to you by John Robbins and Rinco LLC, Southern Homes Realty, M&W Auto Repair, and Lincoln Sports Grill, your March Madness destination. Come in for the fastball lunch starting at $5.99. It's guaranteed to be ready in 15 minutes or less, or it is free. Follow them on Twitter at Lincoln's Grill and Facebook for daily deals and entertainment schedule.
Jaylin Henderson is shooting technical free throws. Oak Ridge by 9. Double digits. 10-point lead for the Wildcats. 35-25 the score.
Jaylin will go back to the line for his second. He's got a game-high 13 points in the ball game, and the senior leader for Oak Ridge. Second free throw is good.
11-point lead for the Wildcats. 2 minutes, 24 seconds to play third quarter. Oak Ridge will get the basketball side court. 36-25 Oak Ridge.
Jaylin is to be strongly commended right now. He had 4 points, if I'm not mistaken, the entire game yesterday. He has 14 right now. Has really carried the load early on in this ball game in the second half.
Seth Davis has a shot blocked. Here comes the Blaze down the floor. Got to play defense, got to get back. Driving Jennings, he runs over. That's going to be a block. Got there just a half a step slow, did Tee Higgins, but a great effort anyway by the freshman. Blocking foul called against Oak Ridge.
Yeah, good job by Tee Higgins just to see that develop and know it was there. He's done that in several huge games this year. The awareness of that freshman to come in here in this environment and everything is tremendous, and if nothing else, force him to earn it from the free throw line.
Oak Ridge by 10 as the first toss drops in good. 36-26, Oak Ridge by 10.
Well, and you know, Tee, like that time, you did say you got there half state late. No doubt was the right call. Seth Davis off the miss gets the rebound. Geevantay Gee up. Oak Ridge up by 10 with 2 minutes remaining in the third.
36-26 to score. The Wildcats with the ball. Here they go outside to Henderson. Jaylin penetrates the paint, goes to the hole, missed the shot, draws the foul. Personal foul will go against Andrew Rogan, I do believe. A minute 56 to play, third quarter, 36-26. Barry Wortman on the ropes.
Indeed, and almost more so there is Jaylin. I thought that one was going to fall for Jaylin there for a second. He hung in the air forever, flipped it off the glass with some spin, but he goes to the line for 2.
Good. 37-26, Oak Ridge by 11. The Wildcats have led most of the way, Alex Myers.
Yeah, they have, and I want to just commend Jaylin Henderson also. We talked about before the game. He's a 57% shooter on the year. He seems to step up in big times. He's now hit 8 free throws on the night. I don't know if he's missed, Dave.
12-point Wildcat lead, 38-26, and Coach Green calls for the fans, and on their feet they come. The Cardinal and gray-clad fans on their feet as Oak Ridge leads by 12.
As Oak Ridge has played such great defense, they've got to do it for about 9.5 more minutes.
Here come the Blaze, driving inside. Great defense again by Oak Ridge. Here comes Jennings, kicks it out to Rogan. Rogan in the paint, pulls up and shoots. Clang, no good. Seth Davis of the Wildcats has the rebound. A minute 27 to play in the third quarter, 12-point Wildcat lead.
And I know it sounds bad, but I'm giving Blackman a taste of their own medicine, pulling a pal, if you will. If I'm Oak Ridge and Blackman will let me, I'm holding for one shot right here.
Here comes Jaylin, outside the line, penetrates, pulls up. If it goes, it will have been huge. He missed it. Rebounded that time by the Blaze.
Jaylin, a little bit of a heat check that time. Wildcats with the momentum, but couldn't get that to go. Jennings going to drive all the way in left side. He's fouled on the way to the bucket, and that will be on the floor. I believe it's going to go against Geevantay Gee.
It'll be a shooting violation. 59.8 seconds to play. The Wildcats up 38-26.
Now that one is on the floor. That's Gee's third foul. Gee yet to score in this game.
Here comes the pass, in it comes. With it, driving with it, Jauan Jennings to the hole, missed it. Rebound, Tee Higgins of the Wildcats. He throws the ball away though, and they get him layup good. Tough mistake right there, but you can't fault him too much as the Wildcats have a 10-point lead.
Yeah, Tee's just in a tough spot right there. It was a good heady play by Jauan Jennings as well. Tee coming in as a freshman, he got that big rebound, but just makes one mistake with it, and Oak Ridge will try to hold for the last shot here of the third quarter.
Tee Higgins with the basketball, dribbles to his right, in a lot of trouble, turned it over. Here they come, they'll drive to the hole. Shot is good, no good. What's the call? Foul against Isaac Merian. 23 seconds to play right there. You know, Tee's done a good job, but a couple back-to-back plays, and I think he's going to sit.
Yeah, he's got a good decision by Coach Green to get him out. Doesn't need to shake his confidence, though. Oak Ridge is going to do the right thing and give Tee some claps as he goes out of this ball game here in just a second. Ted Mitchell's going to come in. That time you just see a little bit of jitters from Tee Higgins, but he's made plenty of plays in this game for that to happen. It's okay, as Coach Green just goes over like you would a son almost, rubs his head and says it's all right, because I'm sure they're going to need Tee again as the first free throw was missed from Blackman.
Gonna need Tee again, as again Kevin Steen has those 4 fouls. We'll see if he starts the fourth quarter. Free throw on its way is good.
Wildcat lead is down to 9. 22 seconds to play, third quarter. 38-29. The Wildcats have a couple turnovers the last couple trips down the floor. Gee with it to Isaac Merian. Wildcats playing for the final shot. Oak Ridge will get the ball first in the fourth and final quarter. 38-29 Oak Ridge. Wildcat ball down to 6, down to 5. Here's Jaylin Henderson with 4. Jaylin dribbling, Jaylin driving. He'll take it to the hole, no good, as the third quarter comes to a close. We have played 3 quarters of basketball at the AAA State Championship ball game, and the Oak Ridge Wildcats, with their fans on their feet, lead the Blackman Blaze 38-29. We'll take a break. We'll be back to the state championship ball game following this 90-second timeout.
See what happens. You got 8 minutes, your best 5 on the court. Kevin Steen boats back into the ball game. He's got 4 fouls. 8 minutes, doesn't matter how tired you are, lay it on the line, and you can sit on the couch the rest of the spring. You got 8 minutes to prove that you are the best in the entire state of Tennessee.
Great senior leadership by Jaylin Henderson and Seth Davis, calming down the sophomore Gee.
Hey, you don't get to this point without senior leaders, Dave, and it's on the line for these guys. Last game of the year, can't hold anything back now.
38-29, Oak Ridge in the lead in the state championship ball game. Oak Ridge basketball as we start the fourth quarter. Jaylin Henderson with it over to Davis. Seth Davis, bounce pass out to Jaylin Henderson. Jaylin dribbles. Jaylin drives, takes it strong to the hole, no good. Gets his own rebound, he's fouled. Fouled by Blazeman. It'll be a foul called against Lucas Hart. And Oak Ridge will go to the free throw line with Jaylin Henderson.
Jaylin, he's just done such a great job controlling the basketball out here, guarded by great athletes, getting into the lane and finding some space down there. And I think they're going to call that one on the floor, but it is the 1-and-1.
38-29, Oak Ridge by 9.
Oak Ridge into the 1-and-1 now. Oak Ridge just one foul away from getting Blackman into the 1-to-1. First shot up by Jaylin. Hit the rim on both sides, front and back, and went back front, finally dropped down. Good sign for Jaylin as he just keeps his offensive flourish going, putting Oak Ridge up by 10 with 7:39 remaining. Oak Ridge leads 39-29. Jaylin Henderson to attempt the second free throw.
Here he goes. Good, he's focused, he's on it.
Jaylin Henderson has hit 10 free throws. I don't know if he's missed yet from the free throw line, Dave.
Here comes the Black Blaze trying to get the ball inside. They'll turn, they'll spin, they'll shoot, they'll score. Jauan Jennings, and a timeout is asked for by Barry Wortman. 7:26 to play, 40-31. The Wildcats on top by 9. This is the AAA state championship game. The Wildcats trying to hold on. They've led the entire game, but I agree with you. This Blackman team didn't get to the place they are by being a slouch team. They have a run in them still, I'm sure.
And let me tell you, that move right there by Jauan Jennings was as good as I've seen this year. Absolutely unstoppable. A spin in the lane like that, and he got it off the glass good. That's tough, and look for him. Barry Wortman's going to put the ball in his hands and let him go. At this point, you take your best player, and you just got to trust him and let him do that. That's going to come down. It might shape up a Jauan Jennings-Jaylin Henderson battle.
40-31, 9-point lead. Still a three possession ball game. 7:26 to play. The Wildcats in the lead, 40-31. Are you nervous, Alex Myers?
It's getting there. I'm more antsy right now, but I'm sure as this game continues to wind closer and closer to zeros on the clock, I will continue to get more nervous. Isaac Merian, though, right in front of us right now. Got to get going on offense. Oak Ridge has survived without him being much of a factor offensively in the second half.
Wildcats do get the ball in, and down the floor will come Steen. Here goes to Seth. Seth didn't have the drive, wisely backed it up. Oak Ridge in the lead by 9. Seth is trapped, throws it into Steen. Kevin drives to the hole, off the glass shot. What's the call? That's a foul. Foul called against Blackman. And I think it might be against Jennings. He's holding his hand up. Nope, it's going to be against number 22, Donovan Page, but Kevin Steen will go to the free throw line.
And I could see the direction there from Coach Green telling Kevin to go with the shot fake. And Oak Ridge does need to get back to that down low to get those guys in the air before going up with it. Kevin, fortunate that time to be fouled. He makes the first free throw.
Free throws have been key so far for the Wildcats as Kevin gives Oak Ridge a 10-point lead. Make it at 10 and holding as he missed the shot. 7:10 to play in the ball game. 10-point Wildcat lead. Jauan Jennings dribbles against Jaylin, throws it to the left corner. Driving with it will come Wilson. Here's a shot from 3, no good. Rebound foul called against, I think, Seth Davis. 7 minutes to play in the ball game. Oak Ridge by 10.
And that's not a terrible foul because Seth was one-on-one down there against a bigger, stronger athlete. And when the guy got the rebound, they called the foul. If they don't call that foul, the guy's going to put it right back up over Seth more than likely and get the easy layup. So not a bad foul. Sends in the line, a little tougher shot.
Lucas Hart to the free throw line in a 10-point game. Good.
He's been strong from the line. Watching him against Hamilton, he was very good from the charity stripe, and that continues for Lucas Hart.
41-32, the Wildcats in the lead. Hart back to the free throw line. Toss, good. Free throws, obviously crucial in late ball games, and both teams showing the ability to knock down shots. Oak Ridge will be facing pressure once again, and Blackman can bring it.
That they can. These athletes all over the floor. Kevin Steen will try to work it in for Oak Ridge. Kevin, the count is on here. He's got to get it in. A timeout called by Oak Ridge.
And let's take one with them. Exactly 7 minutes to play in the state championship ball game. Oak Ridge on top of Blackman, 41-33. We'll be back following this 30-second timeout. Welcome back to the Murphy Center. Oak Ridge on top in the state championship ball game, 41-33. 7 minutes to play. The Wildcats will try to work the ball in. Pressure once again. Kevin Steen will try to work it in. He's got to do it sometime. Got to do it. Got to get it in. He did not. Kevin turned the ball over. 5-second call.
Yeah, Kevin, he might have had Seth Davis initially there long. It's hard to throw that pass right off the bat, but we know Kevin can make it being a pitcher and all, but it didn't come in. Oak Ridge turns it over.
Here comes Jennings with the basketball. Takes Gee one-on-one. Shoots a three. Missed it. Rebound, Isaac Merian. Big rebound for the Wildcats. Here comes Oak Ridge down the floor. Jaylin Henderson in the rear court, got a screen by Steen. Brings the ball right in front of our scorers table vantage point and sets up the offense for the Wildcats. Up by 8 with exactly 6:40 to play, and there's a foul. Foul away from the ball. Well, actually at the ball, but a dumb foul by Andrew Rogan.
Yeah, it's just too close that time. Wouldn't let Kevin get through with the basketball and fouls him, but puts Kevin Steen on the line.
Kevin will have one in the bonus.
And one more foul from Blackman will put him into the double bonus. So if Kevin can make these two here, Oak Ridge is in very good position.
Here comes Kevin's first shot. Good. Nothing but net. Oak Ridge back up by 9. 42-33, 6:39 to play in the ball game.
And I believe they might have assessed that one to Isaiah Hart, who would have 4 fouls in the game for Blackman.
Good. Wildcat lead is back to 10. 43-33 the score, 6:39 to play in the ball game here at the state championship ball game. Down the floor with the basketball, Isaiah Hart sets the dribble to the left side of Rogan. Rogan for 3, clang off the iron, no good. They get the rebound, force it up and score. Off the glass goes Lucas Hart, and the Wildcats lead is cut to 8.
Blackman unable to set up their press here off that made basket, but they're going to run a double at Jaylin.
Wildcat basketball. Here it goes out to Gee. Geevantay works in Isaac. Fakes, pumps, shoots. Not a good shot. Rebounded by the Blackman Blaze.
Isaac might have got away with the travel that time, but he blew the shot anyways.
6 minutes to play in the ball game. Oak Ridge by 8. Barry Wortman's team trying to make a push here. 5:57 and counting. Oak Ridge leads 43-35. Around to the right side. It goes Isaiah Hart for 3. No good. Rebound. Big battle. Oak Ridge. Seth Davis. Jaylin Henderson. Jaylin down the middle of the floor. Geevantay Gee for the shot. Good. The sophomore scores. And the Wildcat lead is back to 10.
And they called it. You heard the whistle blow. It's because of the goaltending. Shot's good. Oak Ridge up by 10 with 5:37 remaining. Confusion on the floor. Oak Ridge has got to get back.
That should be a charge. Call it. What's the call? Intentional foul. Intentional foul.
What?
Called on what? Absolutely a horrendous call. What's the call? Jaylin's livid. They call an intentional foul.
Because this is the worst foul I've ever seen. This is the single worst call I've ever seen in my life, Dave. Jauan Jennings went in there, cradled the ball, ran straight over Seth Davis, and they somehow call it an intentional foul on Jaylin Henderson. I don't understand it. Barry Wortman's up off the bench, which he shouldn't be because he's already got a technical, and the free throw is good from Jennings. I'm telling you, the worst call I've ever seen in my life, Dave.
Jennings was running full speed down court. Jaylin was trying to back tap the ball. The guy ran over Seth, which should have been a charge. They call an intentional foul. Second free throw's off. No good. They will get the ball back, Blackman will though, but I just don't see, I never saw anything remotely intentional. Jaylin's got to be careful though. He's still trying to figure out the call from the ref. The referee never went and explained it to Coach Green, which is weird.
Isaiah Hart will work the ball in. Oak Ridge by 9. 45-36. They have the ball underneath their basket. Right now they do. Having trouble. That should be 5. They get the ball in. The shot is on its way. Good. They score. If that wasn't 5, I don't know what was. Wildcat lead is cut to 7. 45-38 in the state championship ball game. Jaylin Henderson down the floor for the Wildcats. Here they come. The midcourt circle. 5-second count was on. He gives it up to Davis. Seth Davis around to Henderson. 5:15 and counting. Oak Ridge by 7. 45-38. The Wildcats playing a little keep away at the top of the key. Seth Davis, a big tall post, holds it, needs help, hands it off to Jaylin. Jaylin dribbles to the baseline. Jaylin drives to the hole. Jaylin shot is blocked. What's the call? Foul called against Isaiah Hart, and he's gone. That heart quits pumping at the state championship ball game, and Oak Ridge will go to the free throw line.
Jaylin Henderson being aggressive, and the Wildcats have to do that. They have to remain aggressive on the offensive end, and Jaylin was. They just opened the hips and gave him the baseline that time, and Jaylin will take that all day.
Yeah, Jaylin, good job. He kind of pump faked. The shot almost got blocked. It did get blocked off the backboard. It went right to Geevantay Gee, but regardless, Oak Ridge is going to go to the line, and that was a shooting foul, but regardless, after this, every foul will be a double bonus, Dave.
Jaylin Henderson to the free throw line. Oak Ridge up 45-38. Missed it. We'll have another one.
It's hard to complain when he's gone. I think 10 for 11 now, something along those lines. So great job by Jaylin. Just got to step up and hit this one. Put it back up Put it back up by 8.
Jaylin Henderson back to the line, toss, no good. Long rebound, Kevin had it for a second, back up with it. He's tied up, no, he's gonna shoot, he's fouled. Great offensive rebound by the senior Kevin Steen. Came down with it, drew another foul, and he'll go to the free throw line again.
Oak Ridge just wants it, Dave. Kevin wanted it so bad. He was amongst 4 guys at least down there, and Kevin out-muscled them all and came away with the basketball.
Kevin Steen to the free throw line. He'll have 2 shots. Shot, good. Kevin Steen. Oak Ridge back by 8, 46-38, 4:56 to play in the ball game.
Kevin's hit 6 free throws, and you talked about his physical toughness, being able to pull that one down. As much as his physical toughness, Kevin's got a mental toughness. Not shows it there as he goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line.
Got to pick up Jennings as he dribbles drive all the way to the baseline. Shot is no good. Fouled by Jaylin Henderson, and that is his 4th personal foul. You know, if I were Coach Wortman, and you said it earlier, Lucas, Jennings is going to have the ball every time down the floor.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's going to do that right there. It's not unlike Devin Sibley coming down at the end of the game for Carnes. You just got to put the ball on your best handlers, with your best handler, your best shooter, everything else, and let him go. As the foul, they initially said that was on Kevin Steen. They need to straighten that one out. The officials are going to talk about it. It would be Kevin's 5th. It was definitely on Jaylin Henderson.
Why in the world are they picking on Kevin today, Alex Myers?
You know, you don't want to use the words picking on, but certainly
I used them.
Kind of leaning towards that with Kevin throughout this entire tournament. You know, he's a guy who typically gets a lot of fouls, but there's been 2 or 3 foul calls on Kevin tonight. They are going to switch it to Jaylin. Both of them now have 4. There have been a couple of calls tonight, one less now that one goes to Jaylin. There have been a couple of calls on Kevin, like the one earlier when the ball was rolling out of bounds and he just turned around. I didn't see much contact, and they just called a foul off the ball. Tough night for Kevin.
But indeed, Jaylin does have those 4 fouls, so it's going to be tough. Jaylin Henderson and Kevin Steen have been the ones guarding Jennings. Both of them have 4.
Blackman creeping back in the ball game is back to a 7-point game. He can make it a 2-possession game on this free throw, and he does. 46-40. Oak Ridge lead is 6. 4:50 to play, and immediate timeout is called. We'll take one with them. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge and the Blackman Blaze, 4 minutes, 50 seconds away from a state championship. One of them. We'll be back to talk about it following this 90-second timeout. Thanks a lot, Lucas. Oak Ridge crowd on their feet. The Blackman Blaze fans on their feet. 4:50 to play in the ball game. 6-point Oak Ridge lead. 46-40 in the state championship ball game. Middle Tennessee State. Kevin Steen will work the ball in. The Wildcats have Gee, Davis, Henderson, Merian in the ball game. The ball comes into Jaylin Henderson. 4:48 to play. The Wildcats will try to work some time off the clock, or at least they should. As they come out high and trap on Kevin Steen, he has to give it up to Henderson.
Yeah, I think you just got to play basketball, Dave. As it goes into the corner to Gee, he's going to be trapped there. Gee drives baseline, throws it out to Kevin Steen at the free throw line and throws it away. Stolen away by number 12. It's a new player in the game. He drives all the way. Shot is no good. Follow is good off the glass.
And we got a 4-point game. The Wildcats turn the ball over on the inbounds. Another turnover. Another bucket. And we got a 2-point game. Just like that. Here's Jaylin Henderson. He almost turns the ball over. Here goes to Gee. Gee, the boost ball is picked up. It's a jump ball. The alternate possession to the Blaze. The Wildcats have seen a tremendous lead go by the board because of ball handling.
And there you go, Dave. That's why we say no lead is ever safe. And indeed, it is not, as Blackman has closed it to within 2. halfway through this fourth quarter.
46-44. What happened there, Alex Myers?
Blackman went on a run, and Oak Ridge didn't know what to do with themselves. Oak Ridge is acting like a bunch of freshmen out there. I know it's tough, but you got to stay composed.
Crowd is going crazy on both ends. We're down to 4 minutes to play in the ball game. 46-44 the score. Here's Jennings, bumped, dribbles, drives, shoots, no good. Rebound foul, Isaac Merian. They can tie it at the free throw line. The Wildcats at one point had a 12-point lead. 46-44 our score. We're down to a two-pointer, and he can tie it. Jennings can at the line.
Yeah, and right now, the aggressors in this game are getting the calls from the officials, and right now, Blackman certainly the aggressors.
Free throw is good. Blackman has come all the way back. 1 point game. 46-45 the score. Their pressure has been stifling for the Wildcats here. We are tied. 46. Well, the horn sounded. The Wildcats wanted to work the ball in. It's 46-46. And let's see, I guess did Coach Wortman call a timeout? Wildcats wanted to work the ball in. Play is stopped. Back to the Wildcats will be facing pressure, 46-46.
And that horn sounded caused a delay in play. It allows Blackman to set up their press. Coach Green is livid.
The ball, Wildcats working in just as Oak Ridge got it in. 3:50 to play. Guys will hold it right here. Stifling defense by the Blackman Blaze, and you mentioned the Wildcats just panicked a bit, turned the ball over many times, but you have to go back to that intentional foul too, which was just absolutely horrible. Didn't create a lot of points at the time, but it was just huge.
Yeah, it was, and that you mark that as the momentum change in this game, really. And then, Dave, you know, I was thinking over here in my mind that sometimes maybe going into a fourth quarter when you're matched up evenly in talent like these two teams are, you might rather be the team that's down because, you know, the situation and guys this age, it's so hard. The pressure's on, but somebody has to step up from one of these two teams, and somebody is going to do it.
That's exactly right. You got senior leaders on both sides of the ball. Boy, I've gone quiet. The Oak Ridge student section has gone quiet. You're just stunned. You know, you're up 12, as you said, up 9 for much of the second half. Look up the scoreboard, down 6, or up 6, up 4, up 2, tie ball game. Oak Ridge has got to do something right here.
Got to get the ball in for one thing. That's one thing they got to do. They've had trouble doing that. 46-46 to score. Alex said something off mic a moment ago. The Wildcats need a bucket in the worst way.
Absolutely. You got to get something, you know. I think the score was 46-38 at one point. Now it's 46-46. You got to get the ball in. Oak Ridge turns it over right in front of Blackman's bench. It's not looking good for Oak Ridge right now.
It doesn't look good, Davis. If you're Oak Ridge, you just got to realize you're in a tie ball game right now. You haven't lost, and regardless of the crowd, it doesn't matter. You're in a tie game.
Jennings with the basketball, drives, kicks the ball deflected. They've got a 3, won't take it. 3:44 to play. Jennings dribbles, drives, throws the ball right side. Rogan dribbles, pulls up, goes inside the baseline, falls down. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. Or what's the call?
The referee closest pointed to the ground. I guess he was saying on the floor. He pointed right to the baseline, but they're going to call a foul on Isaac Merian, his third. So not a factor right now, but if he picks up another one, then be careful.
Reed Pierce will go to the free throw line to try to give Blackman the lead. 3:36 to play in the state championship game. Guns, good. Blackman's come all the way back.
They have. Pierce, I think that's his first point of this second half. Jennings has led him back, but credit Coach Wortman really in that defense for Blackman, leading them back into this ball game.
47-46, shot good. Blackman by 2. 3.5 minutes to play. No pressure. The Wildcats are bringing the ball down the floor. This is the state championship ball game. 3.5 minutes to play. Gee dribbles. Gee drives. Lost the ball. Stripped out of his hands. Jennings throws the ball down, and a foul's called. Turnovers after turnover, and the Wildcats are hurting right now. That was just a great play. Just strip the ball away from him, and they can take the lead up by 4.
Hey, you're just choking the ball game away. I mean, you know, you don't want to say it like that, but just be blunt, Dave. You're choking the game away. You know, you got a 9-point lead come all the way back, tie the ball game, go down and turn the ball over. Too many mistakes in the second half, and Oak Ridge is quite simply choking this ball away right in front of our eyes.
And Wildcats are in trouble right now, down by 3 now, with Jennings another opportunity for the free throw, and the Wildcats have just got to get something positive.
I don't remember the last time we scored. That toss is good. 4-point Blackman lead. Here come the Wildcats. Plenty of time in the ball game, but they've got to score. 3:18 to play. Blackman on top, 50-46 in a great state championship ball game. Oak Ridge ball. Geevantay Gee with it around Jaylin Henderson. Jaylin dribbles to the paint. Wildcats got to get some offense. Jaylin got a screen. Jaylin drives, no place to go. He's in the left corner, gives it in to Davis. Seth Davis dribbles in. He's got a 3. He shoots it. It is no good. Rebound out of bounds to the Blackman Blaze. Rushed it just a bit. Oak Ridge down by 4. Wildcats are in some trouble.
And Blackman is really physicaled up on defense, and they put that pressure on. It makes you wonder, why weren't they doing that the whole ball game? It's questionable. I mean, with all that athletic ability for Blackman, I would do it the whole game, every game.
2 minutes, 46 seconds to play in the state championship ball game. 4-point lead for Blackman with the basketball. Number 5, Lucas Hart. The Wildcats need a stop in the worst way. They work the ball to Rogan. Rogan fouled by Kevin Steen.
He's gone. He's gone. Another questionable call on Kevin Steen. He was up into him playing good defense. Apparently he played a little too well. Apparently he got a little too into it. Coach Green is livid right now, and he knows what's going on. You know, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Oak Ridge is down by 4. You're going to have to start scoring. You're going to have to start defending without getting contact. Coaches meeting right now on the Oak Ridge bench. They got to figure out something. They got to figure out quick.
Wildcats have got to shoot it, as there's been no threes here in the second half, I believe. I guess that one from Tee Higgins went down. Wildcats are going to have to start shooting it, and Tee Higgins is going to come into the ball game. Perhaps he's somebody that can do it.
2:35 to play. Wildcats down 4, 50-46. If you just tuned in after turning it off for a while and the Wildcats were up 12, it's been stifling defense by the Blackman Blaze has made the big difference. Rogan to the free throw line. Toss is good. 5-point lead. 2:35 to play. The Wildcats trail 51-46.
And another free throw will come from the left-hander. Again, Wildcats have just got to make a bucket. Start with the bucket. You can't score 5 points in a possession.
Here come the Wildcats down the floor, 51-46. Here's Oak Ridge basketball. Seth Davis with it to Gee. Somebody's got to make a play. Jaylin Henderson backs up, 2:23 to play. Henderson looks up high, wanted a screen. Wildcats taking a lot of time, down 5. 51-46. Seth won't penetrate. Somebody's got to make a move. Jaylin Henderson dribbles, drives, taking a lot of time, pulls up, elbow shot, no good. On the rebound will come Blackman. 51-46. The Wildcats, not a great possession.
It wasn't there, just got nothing. It was always just going to be a Jaylin Henderson isolation. That time you got to find a go-to. And it's hard right now because they probably can't hear Coach Green.
Here comes Jennings. Lost the ball off the body of one of the Wildcats out of bounds.
Yeah, and Oak Ridge has gotten outscored 22-8 in this quarter, ladies and gentlemen. And that's basically the story of the ball game at this point. Oak Ridge had to lead the whole game pretty much. All of a sudden, 22-8 run, and that's your ball game right now with 1:45 remaining. Oak Ridge is trailing 51-46. We're going to take a 60. We're going to leave it here. But Dave, I've just got a very heavy feeling inside my body right now, and it's just tough to go from so close, you got it so close in your hands, 9-point lead, 7 minutes to go, to now.
Well, we're not over here yet. Wildcats trailing by 5, but with 1:45 left in the game. Recall back to that Siegel and Arlington game we saw the first day down here on Wednesday. Siegel came down from down 6 with about 28 seconds left in that fourth quarter. So nothing's off the board here. And now Blackman, who does have all the momentum, maybe they feel the pressure now and Oak Ridge can get going.
Yeah, and Arlington coach for yesterday, he was not happy. He's right behind us now. I'll tell you, I don't know, he might not be rooting for the Wildcats in this one, but I'll tell you, Dave, it's just not much that I can say that I haven't already stated because, you know, that's why Coach Green's a coach and I'm not, but, you know, you got to do something to get yourselves going here. You got outscored 22-8 so far in the fourth quarter. Blackman scored 21 in the whole first half, okay? And they've scored in under 7 minutes here in the fourth quarter, they've scored 22. So you got to tighten up defensively.
The Blaze will get the ball. They lead with 1:45 to play, 51-46. The Wildcats trying to win the state championship. The Blaze trying to win their first. Blaze ball. 5 seconds. Here's the pass. He throws it almost away. Saved. 1:44 to play. A near steal and a reach-in foul called against Seth Davis. Stops the clock with 1:42 to play. And let's see what they can do at the line.
And like I said before, Lucas Hart is a really, really good free throw shooter. He proved that against Hamilton. These are two big ones right here. The foul on Seth Davis is his fourth for Oak Ridge.
Kevin Steen's already fouled out of the ball game. 51-46, still a two-possession ball game, but if he hits both of these, we're in trouble. Shot is up good. 52-46. Amazing fourth quarter for the Blackman Blaze.
You just, loss of words. You just never hardly seen something like this, but you could feel it coming, Dave. They just kept chipping away. Their students got into it. Misses the second free throw, though. Geevantay Gee comes out of there with it, pushes up the floor. It's a two-possession game.
1:38 to play. Here comes Gee all the way to the hole. Works the ball left side for a three. Jaylin Henderson, good! Big shot. Oak Ridge wants a timeout. Oak Ridge gets it called. Jaylin a big shot from the outside, and life once again for the Wildcats with 91 seconds to play.
And that just might be the one, Dave, that can stay to maybe shift this momentum slightly. And talk about Jaylin Henderson, 21 points in a state championship game.
52-49, Blackman leads. 1:31 to play. Ted Mitchell checking into the ball game now for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge has had trouble getting stops as of late. That time just a huge shot. The Wildcats need a quick stop. That little flurry where the Wildcats had trouble getting the ball in and the ball was on the floor and they get a bucket and that one after another, man, that would be nice to reverse and get some plays like that.
Yeah, we've seen that from Oak Ridge before. Remember the first postseason game Oak Ridge played this year, district semifinals at Powell. Oak Ridge, a huge comeback in that one. This one, nothing compared to that in terms of the scoreboard.
Blackman lobs the ball in and they'll set up their offense. In the rear court, a foul. Foul called against Gee. 3 seconds off the clock. Unfortunately, it's Jennings going back to the line. 52-49. We'll trade him. A couple free throws here. He still has to hit them. He's a fantastic player, but he still has to knock down the shots.
He does. He has 13 points in the ball game, and he will go back to the line as Oak Ridge doing an offense-defense substitution with Jaylin Henderson, who will check back in following this free throw, which is missed.
Remains a three-point game. 1:28 to play.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Oak Ridge. He misses the first free throw. He's still going to get another one. Oak Ridge is still in this ball game. 91 seconds to play.
52-49. Good. Two-possession game, and Coach Wortman calls a timeout. We'll take it ourselves. 53-49. 1:28 to play in the state championship ball game. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to the state tournament here. Oak Ridge down by 4, 53-49 in the state championship ball game. Things are not looking good, but the Wildcats still have hope as long as there's time on the clock.
That there is, and we've got 88 seconds on the clock, 1:28, and the basketball trailing by 4.
You don't need a three right now, but it would be nice if they could get it, but you just got to get some points.
That's right, Dave, and Jaylin Henderson's the one been carrying Oak Ridge thus far.
Here comes Seth Davis. He lost the ball on the floor. Dribbled it off his foot. Tough break. Tough break that time for Seth, Alex. He saw a clear lane to the goal and just dribbled it off his foot.
That's a couple of times he's turned the ball over. Speaking of turnover, Blackman turns the ball over. Oak Ridge just got hope. 1:08 left. Only down 4. You get a bucket right here, then get a quick stop. You're in business.
Coach Wortman kind of shakes his head, can't believe it, as the Wildcats will try to get the ball in and they get it into Jaylin Henderson. 1:06 to play in the ball game. 53-49. The Wildcats down by 4. Jaylin dribbles. Jaylin backs out. Jaylin pulls up, shoots a three. Boy, they need it. No good. Rebound. The Blackman Blaze. Then a reach-in foul called against Tee Higgins. 53 seconds to play. 2 more free throws on the other end. Good look that time by Jaylin. Just hit iron.
Yeah, you'll take that shot if you're Coach Green, and Oak Ridge every time. Off the back iron there, Oak Ridge if you got to rebound with 5, those guys were going after it, but just fell right into the hands of a Blackman Blaze player, and Pierce will go to the line for 2.
53-49 the score, 53 seconds to play. Reed Pierce shoots, no good.
And they're not doing a good job. They could have just about sealed this game up by now. They started missing some free throws. Oak Ridge is in it. And like Lucas said, if I'm Coach Green, I want Jaylin to take that shot every time. I don't have a problem with that. Just hopefully he'll make it next time.
Back to the free throw line, Reed Pierce. Good. Still a 2-possession ball game. Wildcats down 5, 54-49, 55 seconds to play. Gee to the hole, kicks it out Jaylin. Jaylin drives to the baseline, wants to shoot, throws the ball away. Couldn't decide whether he wanted to shoot or pass the ball to Gee. I think he was trying to pass it to Gee and throws it out of bounds.
Well, one or the other, you're right, Dave, but he also got hammered on the play.
Look at the Blaze working it in. Jennings guarded by Gee in the rear court. Down the floor, Rogan. Rogan throws the ball. Oh, a foul called against T, and the Wildcats were just an inch away from getting a turnover. 38 seconds to play in the state championship game, and what looked like a gold ball coming to Oak Ridge slipped away here in the fourth quarter. We're not done, but things are not looking good right now for the Wildcats.
You're right, David, and there's not much of a way to sugarcoat it at that point. I mean, you start with Oak Ridge maybe had some easy looks that they should have converted. They're up by double digits or nearly double digits, but you're right, the nerves, the pressure of the situation, and I hate for that to be the case. You really do, but there's really no other way to put it.
Lucas took the words out of my mouth. Second free throw's good. Wortman wants a timeout. Blackman can feel it coming now. They're 38.2 seconds away. The same thing for Oak Ridge. They're 38.2 seconds away from this one being over. It just about is if they can't get something going right here.
You just don't appreciate how hard it is to get to a state championship game. It's been 51 years since Oak Ridge has played in this ball game, and they have battled hard, and it has been a great ball game. The Wildcats have played great basketball until the fourth quarter when they struggled, but you got to give all the credit in the world to Coach Wortman's team. That pressure, and Lucas said it earlier. I mean, you kind of wonder why they didn't do it earlier, because the Wildcats just couldn't handle it. It was one turnover after another, and the Wildcats have seen the state championship perhaps slip out of their grasp here with 38 seconds to play. And I'm not saying it's over. It doesn't look good, but runner-up in the state's not bad.
Yeah, but I'm just going to be honest with you, Dave. It's not over. But if Oak Ridge, pretty much it is, if Oak Ridge can get some type of score, points here on this possession, because, unless Blackman just chokes and just doesn't hit another free throw the rest of the game, it's going to be almost impossible for Oak Ridge to come back. But it's not over if you hit a shot right here. But Jaylin Henderson comes back on the floor, and one of the things that I don't think we've talked about, Oak Ridge has completely gone away from Isaac Merian, which I don't think is smart, but part of it's not their fault. He just hasn't been, the looks haven't been there in the second half, but you got to have one of them taking this shot.
Here come the Wildcats down the floor, 35 seconds to play. Gee works it out, Jaylin. Jaylin gives it out, Seth, needs a three, hits a three. Three-point shot, Oak Ridge. And the Wildcats close the gap to 4, 26 seconds to play, and a timeout is asked for by Oak Ridge. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Welcome back to the Murphy Center, the Monty Hale Arena campus in Middle Tennessee State University. 4-point game, 26 seconds to play. Wildcats down. It's possible. Got to get a steal. Can't take any time off the clock. Got to steal the inbounds.
That you do, or Blackman's going to have to change what they're doing and miss some free throws. But Oak Ridge, you can play them man-to-man. We'll see what happens.
Here they come. They kind of double switch on the inbound, and here they come down the floor. 24 seconds to play, and a foul's called against Oak Ridge. I think the Wildcats wanted to travel. 23 seconds to play. It's going to come down to free throws here in the last few seconds. 4-point lead for Blackman, and I know it's disappointing for those of you listening or watching this on 15 listening, 56-52, but this is a very good Blackman team. I mean, Oak Ridge played well for 3 quarters, and they're playing hard here in the fourth quarter. Blackman just made a run, and unfortunately it's at the right time for them.
Yeah, I think if you listen to most folks, Oak Ridge wouldn't have been able to play with this Blackman team. But you had them on the ropes. all the credit in the world to Blackman, who responded in that situation.
Back to the line they'll go. They hit the first one. 5-point game. Still just a 2-possession game. Just the time is just not there. He hits it. 6-point game. Got to get the ball in. Here goes the Gee. No time to waste. Gee brings the ball left side. Jaylin wanted to shoot. Gee's going to have to. He launches it. It's on target. It's good. 3-point shot. 14 seconds to play. 12 seconds to play. Get the ball in. You got to foul. You got to foul. 8 seconds to play in the rear court, and they finally call. Wildcats let way too much time tick off the clock there. I mean, way too much. There was just too much separation. There's 6 seconds to go. If he hits one of these free throws, this game's over, and somebody is fouled out just now. Wildcats just took too much time to commit that foul.
Yeah, it took way too much time there. Just awareness of the situation. DeAndre Gibson's going to check into the game, I believe, for Oak Ridge. Indeed he will. He can shoot it, but it doesn't matter if one of these 2 free throws is knocked down by number 14, Andrew Rogan.
Here's the first one. Good. Wildcats are in a little trouble here. 6 seconds to play, down by 4. 59-55. Anything's possible. Oh, man, not much what you can say here, Lucas. I mean, as Rogan goes back to the line, toss, good. Coach Wortman calls a timeout. 6 seconds to play in the state championship game. 60-55. Looks like Blackman's headed to the AAA state championship.
That they are, Dave. Blackman's going to go home just down the road here, about 20 miles away, with a gold ball. And what a run they've had. They did not have an easy road here. Start off a draw against Hamilton, a very, very talented team. And they beat them pretty good at the end of the day. The Wildcats gave them everything they wanted here tonight. It took everything Blackman had.
Huge Oak Ridge turnout of fans, and we all know Coach Green and the guys, they appreciate that. We appreciate all of you listening to us and all the coverage all year long. Doesn't get any better than this, a state championship ball game. I guess it does get a little better if you win it. But, you know, to be here is big. Wildcats 6 seconds to play, down by 5.
Yeah.
Jaylin Henderson works it into T. 5, 4, Jaylin, a three-pointer at the buzzer is good. No time left on the clock. Congratulations to the Blackman Blaze and Coach Barry Wortman. They beat Oak Ridge in the AAA state championship ball game by a final score of 60-58. Pandemonium on the right to the Blackman Blaze fans. Oak Ridge fans on their feet applauding the effort, the season, the career of 5 seniors, and a great run. 40 ball games culminating in a state championship game. Unfortunately, just not enough tonight.
Yeah, and what a great game from Oak Ridge, who gave it everything they had Blackman on the ropes. Blackman's such a terrific team. Congratulations to them. What a great run from Oak Ridge this year, who you cannot say anything bad about this Wildcat basketball team. They played so hard throughout the year, and they did it the right way, Dave. They're fun to watch all year long. They're dunking, they're running, they're pressing. They play man-to-man defense. They say man-to-man is for real men. None of that zone stuff. Coach Green doesn't like to run it. Oak Ridge manned up with everybody. They didn't go to a zone like a lot of these teams do who are extremely athletic. Oak Ridge went toe-to-toe with everybody throughout the year, and that got them just a few buckets away from a state championship.
You know, I've done this a lot of years, and there's nothing worse than looking across the floor from where we broadcast to see the bench of our guys who we know them really well, to see the disappointment on their face. Then you look just a little bit to your right and you see the celebration, a very happy group. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, and unfortunately tonight the Wildcats lost. Final score 60-58. All-tournament team and the presentation of the trophies. Alex, I know it's disappointing. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's just disappointing, exactly. You know, and it may not be quite as disappointing if Blackman just ran away with it or Blackman led the whole game, but, you know, it was you could almost taste it, Dave, up 9 with about basically a quarter to go. and Blackman goes on that huge run, and there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Oak Ridge had this game, and they let it go. But no doubt about it, credits to both teams, Blackman and Oak Ridge. There's no energy left on this floor. Both teams laid it all on the line. Like you tweeted a minute ago, Dave, you think about it, no matter how hard you play, no matter how good these teams are, one of them is going to go home a winner, and one of them has to go home a loser by default. Unfortunately for the Wildcats fans, it's Oak Ridge in this one. But, take nothing away from Blackman or this Oak Ridge team. They laid it all on the line tonight.
About to have the presentation of the Mr. Basketball Award here for the AAA level. The 3 nominees are out there and 3 outstanding players.
Which seems kind of harsh. I know the Wildcat team kind of wants to get their silver ball here and kind of make their way back to the locker room. I would suppose that got to kind of hang out here on the bench for this presentation right now, but it's tough. But it's just a tremendous season from Oak Ridge all the way around.
And the Mr. Basketball selection, we don't have that right here in front of us, but the Mr. Basketball is about to be selected. We're going to hold it right here. C.J. Anderson of Arlington.
He's a heck of a player. Oak Ridge, you want to talk about how well Oak Ridge played? Held C.J. Anderson to 7 points yesterday as a 6'5" point guard who's signed to UMass. He's a heck of a basketball player, and Oak Ridge worked him yesterday.
Now we're about to have the second presentation. If you're listening on the radio, there's a table out at the center of the floor, and you can see the gold ball and you can see the silver ball. Behind them is the Board of Control, the TSSAA, and on that table, along with the trophies for runner-up and state champion, you see the Mr. Football Award, 2 basketballs, 2 basketball and 2 nets from this game that we're taking down, and in a moment. And you're right, I agree with what you just said. If you're those guys in white and orange, you can't wait, and you want to go get your championship. These guys in cardinal and gray, they want to get out of here.
Yeah, it's kind of bad timing on both ends. I mean, Blackman wants to celebrate this thing, and you make them wait too. That's not easy either. I'm sure they won't be too annoyed by that by the end of the night. But Oak Ridge, you just want to kind of pack up and head on out of here, get away from the scene of the crime, if you will. And it's kind of tough, but LaRon Black being honored right now as a AAA finalist from White Station. Also a tremendous player. He's going to Illinois. He's 6'8". They list him as standing next to C.J. Anderson. I'm not so sure if he's about the same size as C.J. Anderson, a point guard. Well, LaRon Black, a tremendous player for White Station.
And the other guy?
I didn't catch his name.
Neither did I. I was hoping you did. Alex, you catch his name?
I did not. I was just noticing, as Lucas said, LaRon Black is supposed to be about 3 inches taller than C.J. Anderson, and he might be a half an inch taller. Maybe not. I know C.J. Anderson has had a little taller hair than he does. I mean, if C.J. Anderson's truly 6'5", then I'd give LaRon Black about 6'6".
If you just tuned in, the Wildcats have been defeated in the state championship ball game, 60-58, the final score, despite leading the whole ball game, and that's what's so hard about this one.
Third finalist was Daniel Knoll from Kenwood High School.
Here's this Mr. Basketball Award here.
LaRon Black from White Station High School.
Young man from White Station, congratulations to him. Guys, it's a difficult time. I mean, I've done this a lot of times, and I can do it. And I know I'm looking at your faces. I know you guys don't want to talk here, but, you can't emphasize enough, both of you, the great year that this basketball team has had, Oak Ridge. And the fans got to be proud of them. And Lucas, you went over it a second ago. It's been a great run. I know you guys have had a lot of fun doing it, but at this stage, this moment, it's really hard to talk about that.
It is, and as you get away from it, gain some perspective and some pride in this team who, again, just made history at Oak Ridge High School, and you've got to, we'll come to appreciate that, and the players will come to appreciate that as they're able to look back on what they were able to do as individuals and as a team And, you know, Jaylin's going to be able to look back and remember he scored 24 points in a state championship game, though in a 2-point losing effort. What a job by that young man. And he, Kevin Steen, and Isaac Merian on the all-tournament team in state, those are things you keep with you for the rest of your life. The pain they feel right now will subside over the hours and days to come, but the pride in those things, it will stay with them for their lifetime.
Very well said, Mr. Forstrom. Alex, they're about to give the Sportsmanship Award to the Oak Ridge cheerleaders. Good job. To the Oak Ridge cheerleaders, they win the Sportsman Award. So the cheerleaders go out and they receive an award. Good job for them.
Well, and I want to say, you know, a lot of times people will get on to the cheerleaders about, you know, how much involvement or not that they have. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're one of those people that don't think that cheerleading, you know, is such a serious thing, then all you have to do is look out on these young girls' faces right now. So many, almost every single one of them crying. They're smiling for a picture right now. Their mascara's everywhere. They've got tears running down their face. They really put a lot of time, boys and girls basketball, but they really truly care about this team, and they want this team to succeed so much. And you just see the pain on their faces. And here comes Coach Green to accept his award.
His award is the runner-up plaque. It's given to him by Jody Wright, the head basketball coach at Fulton High School. Those guys are good friends. And now the Wildcats are presented their silver ball. They'll go out to accept it. The Oak Ridge fans still here. Nobody left supporting these guys. The 5 seniors. Isaac Merian has handed the trophy, and the Wildcats devastated. But they're here. They're posing for pictures. It's a terrible day for them, but a lot of class there. You can tell they're not happy, but they're out there with the silver ball, runner-up in the state.
And they're not happy, but you know what, Dave? That's okay, because they know Coach Green set a standard that you don't play to make state tournaments. You don't play at Oak Ridge to be runner-up. You play for championships, and they weren't able to succeed with that tonight. I know they feel like there's some business left unfinished, so that they won't be happy with that right now. But again, like we said, that feeling will subside.
Congratulations to former Wildcat head coach Barry Wortman, out to accept the state championship coach's plaque. Congratulations to him, his second state championship. Won a girls state championship, and now the gold ball is given to the Blackman Blaze. They are the state champions of AAA. They knock off the Wildcats 60-58. Second state championship for Coach Wortman.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want to about the single season he had at Oak Ridge. He wasn't super successful there. I think he finished with a record something like 15-14, but no doubt about it, he's got some talent. But you know, when you win 2 state championships and you do it, 1 in girls and 1 in boys, no doubt there he is a fantastic coach. And you know, it's just really hard for me and Lucas and you, Dave. I can see it all of our faces. It's really tough to sit here and watch this, but you know, that's nothing compared to, I'm sure, what these coaches and players and the parents of the seniors are having to go through right now. And you just hate to see it, but as I said earlier, you know, it doesn't matter who's playing this game. One team is always going to come out victorious, and one team's always going to come out on the losing side. You just hate to see it be the Wildcats in this event.
About to have the all-tournament team. Alex, you want to run those down?
Certainly will. 2014 Class AAA Boys All-Tournament Team: James McPherson from Brentwood, C.J. Anderson from Arlington, Darius Avery from Arlington, Reed Pierce in Blackman, Isaac Merian from Oak Ridge, Lucas Hart from Blackman, Jaylin Henderson from Oak Ridge, Kevin Steen from Oak Ridge, Jauan Jennings and Andrew Rogan, both of them were from Blackman. Blackman had 4 on this team. Oak Ridge was the second most. They had 3 guys on there. Once again, Isaac Merian, Jaylin Henderson, and Kevin Steen on the Class AAA Boys All-Tournament team. All 3 of them, as well as the rest of the Wildcat team, played so well and so hard. You know, you just can't reiterate how tough it is to even get to the state tournament, nonetheless to get to the championship game, and obviously to win the game. You know, it's real tough, but take nothing away from Blackman. They played a fine game and showed a lot of heart coming back in that one. And Oak Ridge, as we said, you know, they just about had this one, so no doubt they played very well for most of this game. Isaac Merian, now you can hear the applause as he gets the first of 3 3 Wildcats selected to the all-tournament team.
You know, good for Isaac, and Isaac Merian has had a great career, and these seniors are all going to be missed.
Boy, are they, Dave. You know, these seniors, back-to-back state tournaments, you go to a state championship game, you know, there's no way to put it, you know, to the young folks growing up in Oak Ridge. These guys are flat-out legends, you know, and Jaylin Henderson announced to the all-tournament team as well here. Jaylin Henderson will finishes the year in terms of his career, 1,253 career points. Came into this game number 9 all time. I'm not sure if he passed anybody tonight. He finishes with 618 on the season. Kevin Steen also announced to the all-tournament team he will receive his medal as well. And for Isaac Merian, his total tonight, he'll finish with 1,358 career points in his career at Oak Ridge. 2 absolutely outstanding careers for Oak Ridge that you can make an argument, Dave, that those big 3 guys right there, Isaac Merian, Jaylin Henderson, and Kevin Steen, were as good of 3 guys at one time as Oak Ridge as there's been.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And, you know, I look at them out there, and, you know, they're all 3 of them. The good news is, Lucas, for these 3 guys that are out there with the all-tournament team, all 3 of them have signed to play college ball after this game. Kevin Steen's going to play baseball. Isaac Merian and Jaylin Henderson, they're going to play basketball. Jennings is named most valuable player. The other 2 seniors, Tim Gravenstein, he can do whatever he wants. He's an academic guy, great football player, and Seth Davis. Just think, if Seth Davis had played all 4 years of basketball at Oak Ridge High School, just think how good. He was already, just had a great senior year. Just think what he could have done, and who knows, he might have something in his future.
Well, think about the story of Seth Davis. I mean, a guy who plays his first year of varsity basketball this year, started off the year, he didn't get a lot of minutes. He didn't, but got better. And then he was, you know, kind of that 6-man role. And then he keeps playing and plays well. Seth Davis led this team to this tournament up there in Dobbins-Bennett, 12 points off the bench. And then he's just worked his way all the way into the starting lineup of the state tournament. And keep in mind, when we didn't know Seth Davis coming into the district tournament could ever play again after that freak accident where he gets hit by a vehicle. You didn't know how bad it was. He was on crutches for about a week there. We didn't know how bad it was, and just a freak accident. And Seth Davis just perseveres and becomes a starter in this tournament, and what a story that young man is.
You know, final score of the ball game, you just tuned in. You can probably tell by our voice it didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to. It didn't go the way we thought it was going to go after 3 quarters. I mean, the Wildcats, let's go back to the game. They lose it 60-58. Seemed to have the game in hand. Had a 12-point lead. That was the biggest lead of the night by either team, obviously, and just couldn't hold on to it. And Blackman's given all the credit in the world because that pressure they brought on Oak Ridge, the Wildcats just could not handle it and turned the ball over, and it was just, you know, they just couldn't hold on to the ball. And Blackman, give them a lot of credit, obviously. They took advantage. They scored off of those turnovers, and that defense was just outstanding.
They did. You got to give Blackman all the credit in the world. They stuck in there mentally and put the pressure on Oak Ridge. Congratulations to them.